Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. My name is Dr. Ray. Welcome to my office today. What are we doing today? I have realized that I have been very skimpy on good cat options for you guys. And so we're gonna really hit some cat options hard. Now these aren't based on request. So I've taken upon myself to hunt down some cat options. Minerals are very important in cats. If you've been following this channel, you know that excessive mineral content in cat foods will lead to urinary health problems, which is very common in cats, urinary blockages, issues with the kidneys, or if they already have kidney issues, exacerbating those kidney issues. And so I do want to just take a pause really quick and say, this series or any of my series are not meant to medically treat your pet. So if you think your pet needs low calcium and low phosphorus, like specifically needs it for a medical reason, do consult your veterinarian because there may be certain parameters that are special to your pet. So please don't use this to self-diagnose or treat your pet. If your pet's been placed on a prescription food for kidney disease or urinary tract disease, this is not going to be a substitute for that. There's a lot more that goes into those diets than just calcium levels. Just a little disclaimer there, because I don't want to give you any information that may be used deleteriously. I just want to help you guys out in finding some good options. These videos are for the general population, the well pet, and for people that just kind of want some good options. And so we're going to go today to Natural Balance. All right, so here is the website, naturalbalanceinc.com. They do have dog and cat recipes, but today we are focusing on the cat, so we're going to stick with that. I went through, and you can see I just closed a little chat there. I was chatting with the customer service agent. If you have any questions, their customer service was very good, very responsive to the chat. I will say that it is noon on a Monday, and so if you do it on the weekend, it may be different. I did not do this contact our vet text or anything like that. I just went through the general chat, and they were very helpful. And one of the first companies where I asked for calcium levels, and they actually asked me, do you want it on an as-fed or a dry matter basis? So their customer service seems to have some really good training. The options that I want to share with you today are the dry options. They do have canned options as well, but when I was chatting with the customer service agent, none of their canned options are lower in calcium and phosphorus, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend their canned options, but their dry options, there's several of them, are pretty good, and so we're going to go over those today. We're going to start with or actually not start, but we are going to be reviewing the regular line. They have a line that's called Original Ultra did not fall into the parameters that we want, so we're not going to be doing Fat Cats or Original Ultra today, but we will be doing the regular line. So this is Natural Balance. They've got all of them are limited ingredient. This one is grain-free chicken and green pea, grain-free salmon, grain-free duck, and grain-free venison recipe. Okay, we're going to be starting out with a chicken and green pea formula. We're going to be evaluating this using the PSS scoring system. I came up with so that we can evaluate all things evenly. And so we're going to be assigning some points based on what I think is important for a first line approach. And so first line approach means, are the nutrients there? Nutrients should come first. After we find out whether the nutrients are there, then we can start adding in some of the other things that we find important and that may be personally important to us, but not necessarily important to the nutrition of your pet. And so those are going to be things like, are they recycling? Are they sustainable? Do they have good work practices? Are the ingredients the way that we want them? Are the ingredients harvested where we want them? Are they coming from where we want them? Those things are secondary. Certainly they're important, and some people find them very important. But as far as this first line approach, we're just saying, okay, are the nutrients there? That's what the PSS system is for. Other note on the PSS system is that I normally will give a point if a food is not grain-free or raw. I still am giving a point if the food is not raw, but grain-free in the cat is kind of like E. There have been some studies showing that grain-free in the cat can maybe cause some issues, but that link is not quite there. And so keep in mind that as we're going through the PSS system, it is tailored a little bit more to dogs than cats. I did want to see the one thing that I forgot to ask when I was in the chat is if they have a nutritionist on staff. Let's see. jump back in the chat just really quick because that was really easy to do. And maybe while we're reviewing these foods, they can get back to us now on the chat. Yes, because I want to substitute the grain-free on the PSS system for a point if they have a boarded nutritionist on staff. So I'm gonna give them a minute to respond to this. So it's pretty busy. We got a lot going on here. All right, so the limited ingredient chicken and green pea recipe. What they're saying is that chicken is the first ingredient and a single animal protein source in this wholesome recipe. So some people may think that that means that this food could be appropriate for a food trial. I would say that it's not, because you'll see that they have multiple recipes, and unless they're completely sanitizing and cleaning the machinery, you could have some cross contamination. So in general, this may not make the best food trial. But it might be an option if you can't afford like a hydrolyzed diet. So talk with your veterinarian before you use this as a food trial if it would be, appropriate. All right, so wheat, soy, and grain-free recipes, green peas, chickpeas, lentils. They have the fatty acids. It's limited ingredient, provides complete and balanced nutrition for your adult cat. So I like that because that's alluding to the fact that this may be not an all life stage. Let's see what they said. We employ multiple full-time professionals with advanced degrees in animal nutrition and animal health. We also have a veterinarian on staff. My recipes, accredited animal nutrition experts and food scientists develop our recipes with our staff veterinarian and quality ingredients to deliver complete and balanced nutrition that meets or exceeds the ACO requirements for the specific life stage they are developed for. I like that. So I'm going to say yes. I'm telling you, they've been very good with their customer service. Okay. So we're going to end the chat and get back to business here. So let's start off with, they've got these nice tabs here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through this food in depth, and then we're just going to kind of breeze through some of the other options that I think would be good for you. So this is a chicken and green pea recipe. And so when you click the little ingredients tab, it shows you their ingredient panel. Again, they're saying chicken is the only protein source. So chicken meal, peas, chickpeas, lentils, chicken fat. So that is true. It is not raw. So we're going to give a point, and then I'm going to substitute a point for nutritionist in this case here, because they did have, at least it sounded like, a veterinarian actually on staff, and then some PhDs in animal nutrition as well. So I think that that is a very important distinction. Ideally, I would like a board certified veterinary nutritionist, but if you can't find that, or you can't find one, willing to work with you, having some PhDs in animal nutrition that are working closely with a veterinarian together and collaborating, I think is the next best thing. You want to be careful with the term certified pet nutritionist or just the word nutritionist, because those aren't regulated. There are a lot of programs out there, courses that you can sit through that are not necessarily accredited programs. If they don't have an actual degree from a university as an animal nutritionist or a board certified veterinary nutritionist, you have to be very careful, because when you get one of those certifications from a non-accredited program, there is no guarantee that the information or that the final product is legitimate. Same thing with human nutritionists. You have to be careful, because if they are not consulting or not being collaborating with a veterinarian, sometimes the information doesn't transfer from species to species. And veterinarians, I think, are very good at understanding that. When we go through veterinary school, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but when we go through veterinary school, we learn all the species. So we're talking ruminants, horses, lagomorphs, which are rabbits. You've got obviously your dogs and your cats. You've got your reptiles. And so we've got to learn all the species. And so we're very good at understanding that there are differences, very, very unique differences among species, and we respect that. And so, I may not know everything from every species, but I know what I don't know. And I know when I need to look up something. And even more importantly, in veterinary medicine, we know where to reference when we need a reference, and what references are legitimate and what references may not be appropriate. And so sometimes if there's crossover from, say, the human side, they may not be as familiar with that process, because in human medicine, they just learn about humans. And so that species differentiation may not be forefront in their mind, or may not be something that they naturally gravitate to. And so, those are some of the differences, and why I think board certified veterinary nutritionist first, then a degree in animal nutrition that maybe is collaborating with a veterinarian, and then it gets lower and lower down the line. So anyway, we're giving a point for that. And so that's really awesome, and this is one of the things that I really liked about this company. So far, let me get my little paper and pen here. So far they're getting, we're going to give them 2 points for the ingredient list, even though it's actually just 1 point for the ingredient list and 1 point for having a nutritionist on staff. Next thing we are going to do is we're going to go to the nutritional statement. It's right here. This is the AFCO statement. We want it for our specific life stage, and ideally we would like to have it feeding trialed. This one says that natural balance, limited ingredient, grain-free chicken and green pea recipe cat food is formulated. So it didn't do food trials. It was formulated, but it was formulated by those professionals we just talked about to meet the nutritional levels established by AFCO for maintenance, so for adults. So they're going to get 1 point there. That's going to bring us up to 3 points. Feeding guidelines, because I'm going to keep you in suspense, so we're going to do the guaranteed analysis last. Feeding instructions, we want to make sure that they're recommending we feed our cat appropriately. And normal cats, I think, will fall kind of in this category, the 7 to 10 range, 10 to 12, so something in here. So 3/4 of a cup is about what they're saying. Each cup, 380 kcals per cup. And so a normal cat, 200 to 300 kcals per day is about what we're shooting for when we use the resting energy requirement, which I'll put up here the calculation if you want to actually do it. But 200 to 300 is about right for your typical cat. So 380 times 0.75 is 285. So they're going to get a point there. That is correct. Now, let's get into the part I know all of you, my little nutrition nation, I hope all of you were waiting for, and that's the guaranteed analysis. So all of you know that guaranteed analysis, ideally, we should have this on a dry matter basis. And I think the customer service would have done it, and certainly you guys can go through and do it. They probably would have given me this information if I asked for it, but I wanted to get this film for you guys today. So I did some conversions myself. Now, guaranteed analysis is minimums and maximums. And so that's not ideal. We kind of want typical analysis, and she did say their typical analysis is typical. It does vary, have some variation here and there. And so rather than having her go through all the diets with me, I just went ahead and did the conversion, and I'm going to run this through with you guys. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to set up a little equation that's called dimensional analysis. And so how that's going to go is you're going to have 2 sets of brackets. And so on the left side of the bracket, you're going to have B over 100 minus X, where B is the ingredient or the nutrient that you're looking at, and X is the moisture content. On the right side of the equation, you're going to have A over 100, where A is the value that we're looking for, which is the nutrient on a dry matter basis, over 100, so 100% dry matter. Let's go here to this guaranteed analysis really quick to show you. So 33% here, 10% moisture, like we said, 33% here as your crude protein. So that means that B is going to be 33%, and the moisture is 10%, which is X, and then we're looking for A. And so what you're going to do is you're going to put those numbers into the equation. So that gives us 33 over 100 minus 10, which is 90 on the left bracket. And then on the right bracket, we have A over 100. So you're going to take 33 times 100 divided by 90, and that's going to give you A. So 3,300 divided by 90 is going to give you A. And so 3,300 divided by 90 is 36.67, which is A, which is now your protein on a dry matter basis. So if we go through and we calculate each individual nutrient using that method, you have protein, which was 33 as fed, which is now 36.67 on a dry matter basis, 1.0 on the calcium, corrected to 1.1, phosphorus at 0.8 corrects to 0.89, fat from 15 to 16.67, and fibers from 6.5 to 7.2. So you can see why that is important to do dry matter basis. It is just slightly off, but you can see how it changes this, which is okay. The calcium and phosphorus at 1 and 0.8 is okay and in the standards, but when we transfer that to a dry matter basis, it does just make it slightly off. It's not a lot off, so I think it's still a good option, but there are some better options that I want to show you here in a minute. So let's pull up our charts. It is for all life stages for adult cat, and just for funsies, because it did have lower calcium and phosphorus, which was really hard to find. Let's throw up the senior cat as well. There is no specific outlined life stage for a senior cat, so you just kind of have to know and have these parameters in the back of your mind when you are evaluating food. If you have a cat that's over 7 or maybe has some issues where your veterinarian has said, look, let's feed this as a senior cat. So we're not going to go through, for time's sake, each and every one of these diets. So yes, I know I'm using the guaranteed analysis on these, but do know that behind the scenes I did check them, and they are just as good when you do them on a dry matter basis. So here we've got the option, which is the chicken and green pea recipe. So we already know that all of these recipes are getting the point for the AFCO statement. They're all getting the point for the not raw. They're all getting the point for the nutritionist, and they're all getting the point for the feeding guide. So they're already starting at 4 points on all of these diets. And so let's go ahead and pull up this guaranteed analysis here. And this is where you guys, I hope, are going to be really happy. Protein at 30 is a low end of the protein range, which is perfectly fine, especially for our cats that are one of our main concerns is their kidney function. And so they're going to get a point there. And I think that is one notable thing about this diet. They have not fallen on that bandwagon of cats are carnivores, meat is magic, more meat, more meat, more meat, more meat, more meat. They've been able to properly process that meat and use an appropriate amount of protein while balancing. It's all about balancing. It's all about getting things in the right level where everything is playing nice together. It's not about more of one thing. It's about how all the things work together. I think natural balance, that balance, they've actually achieved that. That shows when we get down to the minerals. So crude fat at 12% is going to be fine for both senior and regular cat. And then we get down to the fiber. 4.5 is going to be fine for both. So fiber is a point that's going to bring us up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're at 7 before we even get to the minerals. And now this is the money value right here. Calcium at 0.8 for the senior cat is a win, and for the adult cat is a win. And phosphorus at 0.7 for the senior cat is a win, and for the adult cat is a win. Now, when you do this conversion, it is going to bring this number up slightly. It's going to bring it up to I think it was 0.76 or something like that. So minuscule off. I think this is a wonderful option because this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They had done feeding trials, this would be a 10 out of 10. Feeding trials are falling by the wayside. I understand that, but it's in the PSS system, and I don't know what else I would substitute that for. We're already doing the substitute for the grain-free thing. So I don't know what to say. It's pretty awesome. Let me run through some of the other options because they're all equally as good. They've got the salmon and green pea recipe. Go down to the guaranteed analysis here. Same thing. Nutrient profile is almost exactly the same. So we've got a 9 here on the salmon limited ingredient. Then we've got the duck and green pea reserve. I don't really know what makes it reserve. There you go. Same nutrient profile. I mean, this natural balance is really staying on point here. I don't know why this is not talked about by more of the nutrition gurus. I'm certainly going to start, if people ask me for a recommendation, I'm certainly going to start throwing natural balance out there. I did for many years use it as an option for for feeding trials before hydrolyze got big for some of my dog feeding trials, but I never really dove into it, for cats. So here we go. We've got the venison option. Same thing. I mean, consistent. So all of these are a 9 for both the senior. So if you have a senior cat, I think this is a winner. Certainly if you have an adult cat, this is a winner. And then in the ultra line, not as good as a limited ingredient, slightly off, but close. Maybe your cat won't eat some of these limited ingredient ones. That could be an option for you. And then unfortunately they were not able to deliver on the can. They said that all of those calcium levels were greater than 1.5. So all in all, great option. I hope you guys enjoy this. I really want to get some more good cat options out there. So I'm going to be on the hunt, and we're going to be doing Feline Fridays or something for a while so we can get these good options, get those good options out there for you. And so I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you share with your friends. Let's help them not be confused and have some good information, good options on cat food. So if you know someone that is struggling with picking cat food or understanding how to read the labels, please feel free to share my video, like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, do all those things. And yeah, maybe we'll hang out again if I can manage to film some extra videos for a Feline Friday next week. Bye.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for man.